Here we go.
Oh my god. All right. So today we went to 3 Points Alpaca Farm and Fiber Mill.
It was super cool.
It was awesome. We drove our 3 bags of huge bags of wool there to get it processed. And it's going to take about 10 to 12 months to get that done. I think more about 10 probably.
Probably.
We met with 2 people, Mike and
Amy.
And they were lovely. And we kind of had some issues with our wool. The wool's in pretty bad shape. So they only took about half of it.
Well, I mean, I think you should explain how. So you have 6 sheep.
I have 6 sheep, but they live an hour away from me. And my dad takes care of them, and it's not necessarily his fault at all, because I need to educate a little bit better and advocate a little bit better, and I need to put coats on them next year.
Yeah, that's the biggest tip, is that because some of it was just wet and had too much debris to be processed. So.
Right, it had a little too much VM, which is called vegetable matter. If you don't know what that is, it's basically hay and poop in the wool, and we're going to lose about 30% of it due to skirting, which means they're going to remove all of that stuff. And then we did take pictures of everything in the mill to kind of show the process of how it's done.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So obviously they start by, which we did today, which they were not picking things out, but we were picking out fleeces to process. So we went through things and realized that the fleeces, like we said, were not in the best shape. But
right.
we found,
like if it was too wet or too much debris, right? Those were the 2 things.
Yeah. So if there's too much stuff in it, they really can't process it, and it's not going to be the best. We did decide that the wool is going to be used for artwork instead of garments, which some of it we can still use for garments. I'm sure some of it will be fine. We decided that a little bit of extra stuff in there is not going to bother us very much. So a couple fleeces went through that, depending on what we were going to use it for, may not have.
Right.
So that's good. And he gave us a quote. So I guess the first step is them deciding what goes through. And then...
And weighing it, figuring out...
Weighing, yes. They weighed it to decide what the quote's going to look like. And how long it's going to take to skirt it. So they decided it's going to take about 4 hours of picking stuff out of the wool to get it processed.
So while the wool we brought in was hand skirted, other types of fiber are able to go through this machine that spins and flings out the debris. So things like dust and hay, all of that type of stuff is able to be extracted by using this machine. So it's used for things like alpaca, maybe llama, things like that. Wool tends to clump when you do that and just holds on to all of that stuff tighter. So yeah, just a different process for different fiber.
It's just a long time.
That is a long time.
And they charge $30 an hour for that. But, I mean, it is what it is. We can't really do anything about it.
Well, it's a long, tedious process.
Oh, it takes,
too.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine.
I can't imagine going through and picking out each individual piece of hay. And
right. And we could have done that ourselves. We really don't have the space for it. We could make space in our backyard for that.
Well, I mean, it's still winter, so I mean, like, next time.
Right.
You know, but... And we're still learning. I mean, like, this is my first time even going to a mill.
Yeah, it was really cool. So then the next step is washing. And obviously with wool, there's lanolin and there's dirt and grime and things in there that they have to extract or just remove. So they put that in a washer with really, really hot water, and they scour that. Depending on the company, they do that differently, like what detergent they use, but usually it's like Scour Power or something like that you have to buy online. They may use something more like you can even use like dish soap. You can use Dawn.
Really? That makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, because Dawn gets grease out.
But it's gentle enough to use on wildlife.
Little ducks.
Yeah.
But so then they wash it and they let it dry, rinse it out, and it may take a couple washes to get it completely washed, and then they let that dry on racks. And then they take it to the carder, and actually probably, no, they take it to the picker probably first, don't they? Or is that second? No, they pick it first. They take it to a picker, which picks out it picks the wool apart and fluffs it, basically, to get it. Wool, when it comes off a sheep, when you wash it, kind of clumps up together. And so they've got to pick it all apart. And there's a great machine that does that she showed us, and electricity basically does it for them instead of doing it by hand. You can do it by hand, it just takes ages. And then it goes to the carder, which is, we got a great picture of that. It's a huge machine that combs the wool. Not really combs it, it's called carding. It's different than combing, but it's the same idea, where it basically brushes it. And then they put it through this little machine that makes it into the wool that we're going to be using. I do have a sample, I guess I could show what that looks like. This is from another mill, what wool looks like after it's processed. So here's what it looks like. It's been washed, carded, picked, all those things. And there's little tiny bits of maybe hay in here that you'll find every once in a while, but not a ton of it. So we're getting it processed into this roving instead of yarn. Yarn would have been a little bit pricier, and we're just gonna see, we're not gonna get much out of it anyway. Or we will get a lot out of it. It's not as much as we expected.
But it's not the 6 sheep worth that you were expecting. Well, more than 6, because
it would have been 2 years worth.
Yeah, so like 12 fleeces, but right. It's still going to be a lot. I mean,
it's going to be a lot. So anyway, that was a lot of fun, and I've been spinning more lately. Is there anything else you want to bring up about that trip?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to talk, so while you and Mike were talking over the pricing and all of that, Amy and I went through and looked at some of the other machines, and so the coolest machine has to be the one that spins it into yarn.
Yeah.
So on one side, it takes it and basically there's 2 different machines that you do. The one gets all of the roving going in the same direction, all the fibers going in the same direction. Because when they first go through, they look like this, and then it gets them and goes the same direction. Mm-hmm. And so that's a really important step. And then they take that and they run it through this machine that spins it into a single ply, like you would do on your wheel or your e-spinner, or things like that. And then it takes that and spins it into the 3-ply wool that a lot of times, or the 3-ply yarn, that's probably the most common, I would think.
Uh-huh. Yep. 2 or 3.
2 or 3. So it was really cool to see the machines and talk through that process. So
yeah, it was a really nice facility, and we were just talking about how someday it'd be really cool to have our own fiber mill. It is, we didn't realize, but it is something that's highly sought after, because every mill I contacted they were the fastest turnaround, so it was 10 months.
10 to 12.
Most places were 12 months, at least a year, before it's processed, because they have so much backed up from COVID, and just because there's not many mills around the country, or in this area, so you kind of have to just use what you can.
Yeah.
So we're making this out of what we've got, and I have some of this at home from some older fleeces that I've had processed.
What I think we should say too, the stuff that isn't being processed isn't going to go to waste, because
it's going to be composted, and
we have been watching so much of the Great Pottery Throwdown. I am so obsessed with ceramics and pottery, and it's everything right now. That's like all I talk about.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a ceramics class, but one of the things we want to do is do a pit firing. We saw on the show, they did a pit firing with cow chips.
Cow manure.
Which we got plenty of.
Dad has a cow farm.
So
we've got a lot of cow poop.
So like we got plenty of cow chips to do this type of firing. So that's something that we really want to do, is do a pit firing. And one of the cool things that they do is they use hair, and it changes the color and stuff and interacts with the firing process. So we have all this wool, so we'll be able to do that with some of the ceramics.
Right. Yeah, that'll be super exciting.
Yeah.
So we've got some for compost, some for raku or for pit firing.
Pit firing, yeah.
So, yeah. I did want to show, since we're talking about spinning, I got a new e-spinner this week.
That's your biggest news, isn't it?
It's my biggest news.
My
new baby. I sold my old baby. I don't want to spend a ton of money on my tools, even though it's worth it when you do. And this was not cheap either, but it's a very affordable option if you're wanting to learn how to spin. The one that, if you're brand new to spinning, you can get the Eel Wheel Nano, and it's like, it fits in the palm of your hand, and it's tiny, and it's $125, which I know still sounds like a lot, but it's not. Compared to like $1,000 e-spinner or $1,000 spinning wheel. That is very affordable. This one was, with shipping, $300, and I got a battery for it, so it works on battery. And this is the electric Eel Wheel 6. Let's see. Here we go. Electric Eel Wheel 6. It works green, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's got a battery hooked up to it that's inside. It fits within this case, so all I have to do is turn the battery on. I don't have to have this hooked up anywhere to electricity.
We just crossed back into Ohio.
Yay, we're in Ohio!
I just had to say that, sorry.
Okay.
Interrupted.
But anyway, so they both, the Nano and the 6, can hook up to a battery. So the batteries you get on Amazon, they do have them posted on their website. They're like $20 for a battery. And then I got mine same day, of course. They come with 6 bobbins. Both of the wheels come with 6 bobbins, and you put them together, so they come with, like, you know, the shaft of it, and then like the actual wheel part, or the I don't know what you'd call it. They just fit together, and they work really, really well. I'm trying to think what else I have to say about it. It holds a lot of fiber, because I spun a lot. The Eel Wheel holds a lot, or the mini one too. The Nano holds a ton too, compared to how small it is.
Yeah.
So that's my new baby. I sold my old baby for $125 to a woman who was really excited about it. It was maybe like 4 years old, I'd say. And this one just came back in stock, so I got really lucky. So yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So I've been spinning a lot. And then speaking of spinning, I got the new spin-off. This isn't brand new. This is the winter edition. So it's still winter. I got the new spin-off magazine. It's got a really cool pattern of some mittens on the front. Slip stitch mittens. Somebody make those at some point. Those are really pretty.
Yeah, those are cool.
And that's been fun to look at too. So that's my big project. And the project is for some artwork that I'm working on. I decided from we had a tarot card reading.
Yeah, it was a really cool one.
It was a really nice one. We had a really great guy. He's an artist as well. And he kind of like told us that we need to like get off our butts
just make stuff.
And show what you do. And I was like, you are right, sir.
Because that is the biggest, hardest thing. Is to actually show your work. And
so, we both got a new sketchbook or notebooks, and I am making these big, they're not tapestries, but they'll be like knitted pieces. I don't know if you can see this, actually. This may not show. Can you see it? Yeah. It's going to be a piece hanging from a tree, or a tree branch in a gallery. It's going to be hard to describe without, maybe I could scan pictures in or take pictures of the sketches and we can put them in.
Yeah, you can do that.
And it's really about like sustainability and like thinking about the materials that we use thinking about the materials I'm using. Instead of using things that are like plastic or things that don't biodegrade, I use things that are natural and don't hurt the environment. It's also about like form and like what kind of forms I'm making and how that impacts the aesthetics. It's about several things, but mostly about sustainability and process and women's work. So, because I use mostly like traditional processes to make everything that I do. But anyway, so that's the artwork I'm doing.
Well, the other cool thing is that you're going to learn how to dye, right?
Yeah, I'm doing natural dyeing. I got a book on natural. I should have brought that book.
Oh, well, we can always add that.
Or we can show it next time.
Yeah, we can do it next time.
I got a book on natural dyes. I've done natural dyeing before with different, like onion skins and stuff like that. But I want to try some new natural dyes and get some fun colors. I would like to get some reds, which is the hardest one to get.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. So that's what I'm doing. I'm applying for a residency. We'll see what happens depending on the money situation. Because I applied for two. One you don't have to pay for, the cost is covered, and one you do have to pay for. One's in Indiana, and the other one is I don't remember where. But they're not too far away.
I think it was Illinois.
It may have been in Illinois.
I think it was outside Chicago.
I think so. So, we'll see what happens there. They're like 2 or 3 weeks. So that would be great fun. They're both on farms. I have an interview on Tuesday for one of them. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Oh, sorry.
But I don't think we showed the yarn that we got from...
Let me show my socks first.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because it's a work in progress.
We usually do what we got from the place.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay. That's fine.
And then we do works in progress.
Okay.
And the whips.
So, we did want to show their yarn because they've got some beautiful stuff.
Because they have alpaca, too.
They have alpaca, and then they mix alpaca with wool sometimes.
Yeah.
So this is the one I got, and it may be hard to see, but it's a purple, red, and blue. Wait, let me see. Purple, red, and pink. I'm sorry. Purple, red, and pink. And I'm not going to share the secret of how he does it, but it was really cool. He explained to me some of the process, and that was really interesting. Something I probably could not do without a mill. So secret is safe with him and with me, because I'm not gonna tell anybody how to do it.
We're millless.
We're millless right now. Maybe not forever, but for now. This is 150 yards. It's a 3-ply worsted. It's 100% alpaca. It was $30. So
that's a good price.
Yeah. And then this one is yours. I think it was 32. It's a hand-dyed.
Pretty.
Yeah, it's a hand-dyed. It's a wool alpaca blend. He called this Parrot.
Yeah. I love it. It's like
really cool. It's totally you.
It is.
It reminds me of camping.
Yes.
A little bit. Like your campfire could go with that.
Oh, it could.
It looks just like, you must be drawn to like this campfire theme.
I do love a good orange and blue and green moment. Those are like my colors.
Right.
I love them. So I wear a lot of blues and greens and oranges.
Right. You do. That's right now.
Right.
Right this second.
All the time.
Yeah. So that was really fun. They had a beautiful store. They had rug yarns, which were gorgeous. If you don't know what a rug yarn is, it is a special type of yarn typically. They were doing core spun, which means they have the yarn in the inside and they're spinning around the yarn. So it makes this cool, I don't know how to describe it. You'll have to look up core spun yarn. Maybe we'll link their website too.
Yeah, definitely.
You can see it on their website.
Everything there was just really cool. Like they had a lot of other things. I was drawn to a few other like skeins of yarn.
Yeah. But I could have bought both store.
Well, we always can, but
we can't. We can't afford it, but we would.
Maybe that's all
we could. And then the last thing I wanted to share with my knitting, I've been doing a lot of stuff, but I have so many whips that I'm trying to
Pare down your whips.
I'm trying to think about how to be more efficient. I don't know what I mean.
And your nitties.
My whips and my nitties. I'm doing the Stephen West year of socks. I think I brought that up last time. But this is the second sock. This is the painting triangles. I believe that's what it's called. And I'm using stash yarn. So the brown is, let me see. Well, I'll just tell you, it's from Toad Hollow. But it was from a sale, and they're only selling the yarn that they have left. So you can't get this right now. And then the other stuff I have is scrappies. So I use scraps, and I'm on my second sock. I'm hoping to finish it by tomorrow or maybe Tuesday. So here's the second one. I have the heel. I finished the heel on the way to the mill. And I'm still waiting for the third sock to come out. I'm sure it'll be out tomorrow or Wednesday or something, which is fine because I'm not done with this one yet. So take your time, Stephen West. But don't take too much time because I'll be ready by Wednesday. So I'm excited to finish those. And then right now we're on our way to Zanesville, which is 2.5 to 3 hours away, because we wanted to drive all over the Midwest this afternoon. Today. Started this morning. It's 1:30. We started at 9:30? 9:45?
Something like that.
And now we're going to my birthday party. My birthday is March 9th. Today is my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Julie.
It is, she's obviously born on the 5th of March. I was born on the 9th. So we're celebrating our birthdays this evening. And part of my birthday present was getting that wool processed.
Well, you didn't say happy birthday, Jess.
Well, and happy birthday, Jess, because I have a twin sister and her birthday is also on Thursday.
Happy birthday, Jess. Happy birthday, Jenn.
Thank you.
It's all the happy birthdays.
It is. And I'm going to be 35 on Thursday. Whew. I know. Old lady.
Just kidding.
Just kidding.
No.
I am getting my annual piercing because the place that I get my piercings from has a free piercing on your birthday. Now you have to pay for the jewelry, but the piercing is free, which is $30. The piercing itself is $30, and you have to buy jewelry, which is another usually $30. And then we're going to over the weekend, we're going to the Pet Expo.
Yeah, we're going to do the Pet Expo.
The Pet Expo, and probably get like a whole bunch of new animals.
We still need to get our yak.
Yeah, we do have to get a yak.
Yakety yak. Don't talk about it.
We're going to the Pet Expo, and then we're going to like a metaphysical expo.
It's going to be really cool.
And they're right next to each other.
At the same convention.
And I have a feeling we're going to need some money for that. So,
gotta save them money.
If anyone wants to send us money to fund our excursion. Just kidding.
No money.
No money. We're fine. We're going to have a blast. Maybe we'll take some video of that too.
Yeah, that'd be
for
fun.
our next podcast. And we're recording this podcast before we released our last podcast.
Hopefully both will be up this week.
Yeah, so that's special.
Well, so behind the scenes, we've run into technical issues.
We have.
So basically, the software I was using on my HP Windows laptop just like disappeared with the last update. It just is gone. Don't know what happened. It like required a system update, so I let it do it, and it deleted the app I was using. So I got really like worked up about that because of course who wouldn't? And so then like basically there was no app for it on my computer for a minute. Now there's something that popped up. I haven't looked at it close enough to know if it'll work because we switched everything to Jenn's old laptop, like which is an Apple, and I don't use Apple.
It's a MacBook Pro.
It's a MacBook Pro.
And it's old as can be, but it's still working.
But I've never, that's not my like go-to.
And sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Sometimes
so-
it won't turn on.
Which is
Sometimes
why
it will.
That's why it's old.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it's just been kind of a hit or miss kind of deal there. But I'm hoping to have everything edited from the last one and up and, this one shouldn't be too bad to edit either. So hopefully it won't be too much longer.
Right.
So thanks for everybody's patience.
Yeah, sorry we haven't posted in a while. I mean, you'll get 2 videos in 1 week. Maybe.
Hopefully. That's the goal.
And what have you been up to?
I've been working on my writing because that tarot... Well, I had been working on my writing anyway, but I've been kind of running into this whole, there's been a lot of issues with trying to, get published because, it's already a long, complicated process anyway. The more I learn about traditional publishing, the more I'm like, I'm not sure that's the right route for me anytime. But especially right now, just because there's a lot of legislation going on that's it's aimed at drag queens, but it in fact impacts the trans community in our day-to-day lives. So basically, that's making it very complicated to find a literary agent. It's also just a complicated process to begin with. So I'm trying to work through that and figure that out. But I do have my first novel written, at least the first draft, to the point where it's good enough to send off to a literary agent or start looking at the self-publishing process and different options available for that. And it was interesting because I was talking to Amy about it, the person who was at one of the people in the film, because she also wrote a book. So we kind of were talking about that, how to go about publishing, and so it was kind of interesting that who would know that was going to come up today? Because you were like, how did you guys start talking about that?
Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting because it's just a complicated process that people don't really realize that it's so complicated. Because if you want to get published with one of the big 5 publishing companies, you basically have to send out query letters to all of these literary agents, and you have to write them to each individual one, kind of like you would a cover letter to a job. And then you have to hope that your work resonates with them and that they will actually read what you send them, the sample pages. So
then they have to like it.
Right, and then they have to like it. And if they like that, then they might sign you as someone that they're going to represent, and they'll send it out to the publishing companies and work out the deals for you. So it's a really complicated process to get published with one of the major 5 publishing companies.
Right.
But there's always the self-publishing route, which I sent off to one of the self-publishing companies just to learn more about it, and got a quote back of $4,500, which is oh, okay, well, that's a lot of money, and they didn't really go into what the editing package would look like. That was just kind of to print it and to market it, which is that's a big deal, but there's still more steps in this process. There's still more to it. And I've looked into what it would be to have an editor, and it's $30,000. So as you can see, it just kind of is a big investment to do self-publishing without doing a Kickstarter or anything like that. So I'm still working out how I'm going to do it, but I've just been writing. So I don't really have anything on my needles at the moment.
That's one thing we've got to get you.
Yeah, I've got to find a new project.
And we've got your new yarn. We got the yarn from the last thing too.
Yeah, so I've got lots of yarn.
So,
I just need to come up with a project to use with the yarn.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I've been busy in a different thing. I think we both have been busy, just not with I don't know. We don't have as many finished objects or works in progress this time.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah. But today was productive. This is going to be a short episode, maybe a half an hour, but
the last one's short too, so
it's a fun little trip.
If you need to, you can have a double header.
You can have a whole hour.
A whole hour. You can travel with us to Indiana.
And we'll insert pictures
and then
of this.
Yeah.
Trip.
So we've got 2 trips.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
I think that about covers it.
Okay. All right. Thank you for joining us on this trip, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.